Hello and welcome. Let's see in this image different ways to get correct whites. Um, for this one, I will use only the color fix, white neutral, and I think this is pretty much all we need for a correct white balance. We can decrease the opacity a little bit depending on if you want less or more warm in the image. Also, of course, you can keep working with this image, increasing the highlights or the shadows, or you will know. But I want to use this image also for show you that if you have the Skin Fairy plugin or plugin, you can use the presets that you will have with this set, or I think you will have it. And for this, all you need to do is select the preset you want to run. In this case, I have selected the neutral white preset, and I will apply it. And that's all. Good part of this is you can add the preset automatically when you run the Skin Fairy. So if you have multiple images and you need to edit the skin, but you also want to edit the color, you can apply the preset automatically when you run Skin Fairy. Of course, you can also use a similar version of this preset in Camera Raw, but in case you want to also have the masks or different part of the preset, you will need to do it in Photoshop. For example, now if we want to increase the midlights or run the dream effect, masking the highlights, we will need to do it in Photoshop. In this one, I will increase a little more the shadows, and I think I will run a gradient and also the blur. But I will lower the opacity from this, and I want to show you also how it works, the recover highlights action. I will run the recover highlights action, and I will paint. This is a brush. You need to paint in the areas where you want to recover the highlights. I did blow up all these whites, so if we want to recover a part of the highlights and have some kind of extended histogram, we can use this action, and we will recover some part of the highlights. Of course, try to be more precise. I did like really fast, but I want to show you how it works. This is the before, this is the after, and I want to show you one more thing with this. Sometimes you will see, depending how big is the flat surface on the image, that you will have some banding. And we do not want to have banding, especially in our prints. For this, I have developed inside the tools part of this, the view banding action, which will let you see if you have banding or artifacts in your image. If you work in 16 bits, this maybe will not be a problem, but if you're working in 8 bits, you could see some banding. So for this, if you run the view banding action and you see artifacts or banding, I do recommend you to run the kill banding action. Let me see if we can remove the letters from here and here. Well, I should turn off this before running everything. Don't worry. So if I do run the view banding action and I see artifacts or banding, what I will do is run the kill banding action. This will mask and preserve the subjects automatically, but sometimes you will have props, maybe balloons or different things in the image, and this will not be masked. So be careful, because sometimes you will want to preserve the texture or things in the parts it haven't selected. So for this, you can press Alt or Option in the layer mask and click, and you will see the shape of the layer mask. As you can see, this is the shape I have from this layer mask. In the case I want to, for example, preserve more of the coach, I can paint in here. And now let me see the banding again. And as you can see now, it's more even. Forget about the letters. I did forget to turn off this before running some of the actions. But as you can see, the transitions now are better. Again, if you work in 16 bits, maybe you will not experience this. But in the other hand, if you work in 16 bits, when you export the image in JPEG instead of TIFF, you will compress the file from 16 bits to 8 bits because JPEG only allows 8 bits per channel. So maybe you will not have banding in Photoshop because you will be watching the image in 16 bits, but when you compress the image for export in JPEG, in the final file, you will have some banding. So be sure you check, not only if you're using this action, if you're doing anything in your images, be sure you check the banding. So here you have one action to view the banding pretty easy, and you have one action for remove any kind of banding you could potentially have. So for now, this is all, and well, I see you in the next video. Bye bye.